Right now at 5, authorities in a multi-state murder investigation make a new arrest.
And we've got a pretty decent day out there. Warm temperatures, a few clouds here and there. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, we take a look at staffing challenges Missouri schools are facing ahead of the next school year.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Thursday, July the 18th.
Yes.
And of course, we're live on KOAM, streaming live on KOAM Plus. As we've mentioned, you can take us anywhere.
Right.
And watch us anytime. You know, in case you just 3 hours of us in the morning isn't enough, you can go back and watch it all over again.
Might be enough for me.
I think it might be a little too much for some folks out there. We've got a pretty beautiful day ahead of us.
Yes.
It's going to be nice. It's going to be warm. And like I said, don't get me wrong. I know the 80s
summer.
are still warm for sure,
Summer.
but below normal temperatures. Let's start with a look outside. And boy, you know, walking out the door this morning, it wasn't like opening the oven door. It was nice outside. It was cool. It was relatively pleasant. And that's how it looks from our camera on the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin. And from 7th and Range Line, also looking fairly good. Got to the station, looked up. Of course, you know, we're out kind of in the middle of nowhere in Cherokee County. And so no interference from nearby city lights or anything. No light pollution. Man, so many stars, and it's been a while. We've had some cloudy starts here lately. MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line, also looking fairly good. As we head through the day, again, we're going to have variable clouds, so we'll have some mostly clear skies, partly cloudy skies, and even at times maybe mostly cloudy skies, but we're otherwise dry, a light northeast breeze, and temperatures again staying below normal. And take a look at this. There's no oranges or reds on this map at 5 o'clock in the morning. There's much more manageable temperatures. We've got mid-upper 60s, a couple of 70-degree readings out there, but as you can see, man, what a beautiful start to the day. It's a great start to the day. Hopefully you were able to give your AC a break last night, and if you didn't, maybe you forgot, don't worry, you'll be able to do it again tonight. Sunny skies and again variable clouds through the day. Warm temperatures, we're going to go low mid 80s for most of us across the area. So again, I know the 80s, they're not cold by any means, but they're not overly hot, and they are below normal for this time of year. And I know we'll take all of that all at once after the last few rounds of oppressive heat we've had. We do have some rain chances heading into the weekend, but our temperatures are going to remain nice over the next several days. We'll take a look at the details in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
Thanks, Chris. We'll see you soon. Authorities make another arrest in the homicide investigation that crossed state lines last month, connecting Carthage and the Miami County, Kansas Sheriff's Office. Heather McJunkins, the mother of the accused killer, Gavino Macias, was arrested on a Kansas felony extradition warrant on Tuesday in Carthage and transported to the Jasper County Jail. In Kansas, she faces felony charges of interfering with an active criminal investigation and concealing and/or destroying evidence. Over the course of their investigation, the Miami County, Kansas Sheriff's Office learned the death of Kanaya Lopez of Carthage, Missouri had occurred inside a camper in the 33,500 block of Metcalf Road in rural Lewisburg, Kansas. The body and camper were then driven to Carthage, where police located the camper and body inside. Gavino Macias of Carthage is charged with the second-degree murder in the death of his wife. He remains in the Miami County, Kansas jail. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. The Ottawa County Election Board completes its post-election audit of the June 18th primary in Miami, Oklahoma yesterday. The Oklahoma State Election Board Secretary gave the approval to carry out the audit. Local officials tallied ballots from state-selected precincts to ensure election security and to confirm that voting devices and software correctly tabulated votes.
We audit, we have a post-election audit for every election, and this one is for the June 18th primary. The state election board lets us know which precincts we're auditing and which races. We don't audit the full ballot, we audit specific races.
The audit was open to the public, with the election board encouraging any and all voters to spectate the count. Southwest Missouri schools are trying to fill staff vacancies before the school year begins. The greatest needs are paraprofessionals. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has more.
The general public doesn't always know what it takes to work in a school as a paraprofessional, and it's very easy to get involved. It's a field that we would like more people to consider.
The Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education defines a paraprofessional as an education assistant, someone who is appropriately trained and certified to assist in the provision of special education.
Still experiencing shortage with teachers, and we have a few teacher positions in the special education field to fill. We've got some candidates, would love to have more candidates, but like you said, this is a nationwide shortage.
The Joplin School District says that, as it stands, their biggest struggle is finding qualified paraprofessionals.
It is difficult, but qualifying to become a paraprofessional is not difficult. DESE has worked with schools over the last few years since COVID to make it easier for a paraprofessional to become certified.
Lamar School District Superintendent Dr. Ben O'Connor says they are fully staffed heading into next school year, but they keep the door open for those looking to provide aid to teachers and students.
We always need paras, or you always need people to help out in districts. So we always have a paraprofessional position posted. So if someone comes in, goes through the interview process, we will find a position because there's always a kid that needs help somewhere.
He says the role a paraprofessional plays for students is vital to their success.
Sometimes when you're a classroom teacher, you have 20 kids, you're going through the motions, you're teaching, everyone's going, there's always going to be that kid that needs a little bit more support, and that's where those people fill in and get a kid to love school and change their world.
Reporting in Southwest Missouri, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
If you're interested in becoming a paraprofessional, both districts have applications available. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The Joplin Outlaws host a doubleheader at Joe Becker Stadium. We have the details. Plus, heavy rains turned highways and major thoroughfares in and around Toronto into rivers. And we have a warm and partly cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Missouri Southern golf coach Mike Wheeler retired this past spring after leading the men's program for 14 years and the women's team since its inception in 2018. Yesterday, the Lions announced they found their new head coach for both teams. Carthage native Taylor Griffith, who graduated from Southern in 2010 and played on the Lions men's golf team, is the new head coach for both MSSU golf programs. Griffith says in a press release, quote, "It's an honor to be back as the coach. Both teams were successful under Mike Wheeler, so I have some big shoes to fill, but I'm really looking forward to continuing that success." Now, Griffith has several years of golf instruction, most recently as the assistant pro at Twin Hills Country Club in Joplin. Cam Martin didn't have the typical college basketball career. He played his first season at Jacksonville State in 2017-2018 school year, then transferred to Missouri Southern for the next 3 years before moving on to Kansas and Boise State, wrapping up a 7-year collegiate career this past March. Yesterday, Martin gets some exciting news. He has reportedly signed with the Milwaukee Bucks Summer League team and could make his Summer League debut as soon as this Friday in Las Vegas. While playing for Missouri Southern from 2018 to 2021, Martin was a 3-time Division II All-American. He averaged upwards of 22 points and 9 rebounds all 3 years he wore a Lion uniform. Martin says on Twitter that this Friday will be the first game where he's healthy since leaving Joplin in 2021. And the Joplin Outlaws returning to Joe Becker Stadium last night. July has not been kind to them. The Outlaws have gone 3-9 since the month has begun. They're at home for a doubleheader last night in the Mink League. The Nevada Griffins play 2 as well. We're going to start with the Outlaws. They win Game 1 of the doubleheader over Texarkana 6-3. That brings Joplin a game in front of the Rhinos in the Mid-America League standings. Game 2 of the doubleheader between the Outlaws and Rhinos. Joplin trying to win its 3rd in a row. Top of the first, Texarkana takes a 2-0 lead after this line drive gets just past the outstretched glove of Cale Good. Doesn't take long for a response, though. Next half inning, C.J. Sapicki rips it down the line. That gets into left field, and he slides into second base with a leadoff double. Next batter, Missouri Southern junior Will Doherty. He's going to crank this pitch to deep right center. That's back-to-back doubles, and the Outlaws are within a run. Then, Reed Woodland, who just joined the Outlaws this week, comes through with a single the other way into right. Doherty hustles home, and the game is tied at 2. The Outlaws score 2 more to take the lead in the third. They hang on for a 4-3 win and sweep the doubleheader. Over in the Mink League, the Griffins played a doubleheader as well last night, taking on the Merchants. Nevada loses both ends of the doubleheader against Carroll, 6-0 and 7-5. The Griffins have 4 games left in their season. Well, still to come, a small study has examined the effect on the brain of the psychedelic ingredient in magic mushrooms. Plus, got another check of that forecast and these nicer temperatures when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:16 now on this Thursday morning. We are starting with a live look from our camera on the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin. And as you can see, the skies are clear out there. Another great shot from 7th and Range Line. We'll start to get a little more daylight out there, and it's shaping up to be an absolutely beautiful day. Head south on Range Line to 20th Street. Got a few folks out there starting their day a little on the early side. But the good news is you don't have to start too early to get things done, because even though it's going to still be warm today, it's not going to be oppressively hot. Down in Neosho, MoDOT camera 1659. It's a little deserted right now, but of course that will change as people get their day underway down there as well. All right, let's take a look at the future track. There's really not that much to show. We've got some clouds out there. We'll have a light northeasterly breeze. That's really about it. Then we head into our Friday. We have fewer clouds. We hold on to an east-northeasterly breeze out there for most of us. And again, just a passing cloud or two. Otherwise, looking pretty good. Now, by Saturday, our clouds do begin to increase. And then we'll have some thunderstorm chances. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. 67 in Joplin right now, so a very pleasant start to the day. No heat index, which is also fantastic. East-northeast breeze at about 3. Around the area, most of us mid-upper 60s. We got a couple of 70-degree readings out there, Chanute, Nowata, and Jay. Outside of that, though, it's an absolutely beautiful start to the day. So like I mentioned earlier, hopefully you gave your AC a break last night. If you didn't, don't worry. You'll have another opportunity to do so tonight. All right, as we get our day underway, we are going to look at sunny skies, a few clouds here and there. And again, like I've said, and I don't want people to think I'm crazy, I know 80 degrees is pretty toasty, but it's still below normal, and it's a lot better than where we have been lately. So 79 by 11 o'clock this morning. Variable clouds heading into the afternoon, so partly cloudy, mostly clear in some cases. That's what variable cloudiness is. And our highs today right around the low to mid 80s as we head into the afternoon. So again, keep in mind our average high is about 90, so we're going to be below that. And our average low is a little closer to 70. Look at this low tonight. Mostly clear skies through the evening. We'll go mostly clear overnight as well, and we'll fall back to about 60 degrees, which also means some of you in rural areas could fall back into the upper 50s in July. Makes me wonder when we're going to end up paying for this nice weather. But at least in the near term, we're not going to be paying for anything. We've got pretty decent temperatures holding on. We'll hold on low mid-80s heading into the weekend. And we're going to start to see clouds increasing on our Saturday. And that's ahead of thunderstorm chances Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So thanks to the rain and the cloud cover those 3 days, still keeping our temperatures below normal. They'll start to warm up a little bit as we head into the second half of next week. But not overly hot. Yeah, it's hot, but it's average hot. It's normal hot, if that makes any sense. We'll go right into the upper 80s and maybe some low 90s out there with variable clouds to close out next week. So at least we're not paying for this pleasant weather anytime soon. That's a quick check of your forecast. We're back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning. Well, there's an alarming new study about women's reproductive health and cancer. Researchers now say the risk of developing ovarian cancer appears to jump about 4-fold for women with endometriosis. That's compared with women who haven't been diagnosed with the condition. Endometriosis, when tissue similar to the lining of the uterus grows outside the uterus itself, already shows links to ovarian cancer risks. But the new study found even higher cancer risks for some subtypes of the condition. For example, Women with deep infiltrating endometriosis, ovarian endometriomas, or both appear to face nearly 19 times the risk of type 1 ovarian cancer. A new report released today lists which states rank the best and worst for women's health. Researchers at the Commonwealth Fund collected data from various sources on healthcare quality, outcomes, and access for women in the U.S. The report revealed states in the Northeast scored the highest. Massachusetts came in the top spot, followed by Vermont, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and New Hampshire. States with low ratings were spread across the southern half of the country. Mississippi had the lowest score overall, followed by Texas, Nevada, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. A small study has examined the effect on the brain of the psychedelic ingredient in magic mushrooms. The research involved taking up to 30 functional magnetic resonance imaging scans of the brain of 7 participants. Scans were performed before, during, and 3 weeks after a psychedelic trip on psilocybin. Researchers found the brain disconnects from its typical pathways and reconnects to different parts of the brain. Those new pathways may be responsible for the success of some psychedelic drugs in treating mental health disorders such as anxiety and depression. Psilocybin, also known as shrooms, is illegal under federal law, but the Food and Drug Administration has allowed psilocybin to be treated as a breakthrough medicine that allows it for fast-tracking the development and review of promising drugs. About 4 or 5 cups of coffee a day. That's generally how much caffeine the U.S. Food and Drug Administration says is safe for a healthy adult. However, some are more sensitive to the drug than others. Mandy Gaither has more on how caffeine affects the body.
You can find it in chocolate, soda, tea, and coffee. Caffeine has become a part of life for many. In fact, it's consumed daily by about 80% of adults worldwide.
Caffeine certainly gives you that feeling of alertness. It reduces your feeling of fatigue or tiredness.
Dietitian Julia Zumpano with Cleveland Clinic says it works by blocking adenosine receptors in your brain. Those receptors slow down nerve activity, which make us feel tired. That helps explain the afternoon crash some may feel when the effects of their morning coffee wear off.
It's important to understand your threshold, how you react to caffeine, how much you're having, how you're dosing it throughout the day.
For most people, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration says moderate caffeine consumption can be part of a healthy diet, but overuse can lead to side effects like insomnia, jitters, anxiousness, fast heart rate, upset stomach, nausea, headache, and a feeling of unhappiness. Zumpano says it's also important to pay attention to the source of your caffeine.
If it's in a sugary beverage or coffee drink that's containing a tremendous amount of sugar or calories or fat, we're really not gaining the benefit.
Since caffeine affects everyone differently, Zumpano says to measure how much you can handle without having any negative side effects.
I usually say start low, start small, and then add very gradually.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The FDA says that if you'd like to cut down on caffeine intake, do so gradually. The agency says stopping abruptly can cause symptoms like headaches, anxiety, and nervousness. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got an absolutely perfect day out there. Some warm but below normal temperatures and just a few clouds overhead. We'll have another look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Right now at 5:30, Pittsburgh police team up with artificial intelligence for some high-tech crime fighting.
And we've got clear skies to start the day. It's going to be warm. We'll have a few clouds here and there. Not a bad day at all. We'll take a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, kids in Jasper County learn crime fighting techniques straight from the Sheriff's Department.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:29. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. So here we are. It is now Thursday, one day away from the weekend. And that's always nice.
It's always nice. And it's
always
going to be
nice.
nice today, too.
It certainly is. It's going to be warm, but otherwise pleasant. And really, that sums up the entire forecast, to be honest with you, for today. But I know you want a little more information than just warm and pleasant, so we'll give you a little more information. Let's start first by looking outside from our camera at 7th and Range Line. We've got clear skies out there. Pretty decent start to the day. MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line. A few more cars on the road. Folks getting their Thursday underway, and hopefully they're driving with their windows down right now, because you could save not only on your AC at home this morning, but in your car as well, as we're looking pretty good. Future track heading into the afternoon and evening. Not much to show other than the variable clouds. So as we've mentioned, it'll be, it'll go mostly clear, partly cloudy, mostly cloudy. It'll just kind of depend on where you are out there, but otherwise still not bad. And those clouds will begin to clear out as we head through the evening hours. Temperatures this morning, very pleasant, very refreshing. Most of us mid-upper 60s, got a few 70-degree readings here and there. Neodesha, Chanute, and Newata all at 70. So again, not a bad start to the day. No oranges or reds on the map. We're not starting in the 80s today, and we don't have any heat index values to talk about either. Again, variable clouds through the day. Temperatures will be warm, but they'll be below normal as we go into the low to mid 80s for our highs. And again, we'll have a light northeast breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. So very refreshing out there. We're going to talk about how long this refreshing weather lasts and about some rain chances on the horizon here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon. Well, the Pittsburgh, Kansas Police Department uses AI to solve crimes and conduct investigations more efficiently. One of the softwares helps them detect license plates so they can crack down on car thefts. KOAM's Melissa Alexis shows us more.
Sky's the limit potentially for technology and its applications in law enforcement.
With the popularization of artificial intelligence, various industries are using it in their workplace. The Pittsburgh, Kansas Police Department currently uses it for some criminal investigations.
Accelerate the process, whereas normally it would take an assigned investigator, a group of investigators or officers some time to figure something out. It can look for like the common pinpoints that we would actually use, and it can conglomerate that information a lot faster.
Pittsburgh Deputy Chief Ben Henderson says AI has been a game changer for criminal investigations, and one of the ways they use it is to detect stolen vehicles.
With our license plate recognition software, we're able to actually post eyes 24/7 at various interest points coming to and from the city, so we're able to detect motor vehicles that are wanted or stolen, or that we may be looking for in relation to criminal activities.
Not only is AI used at the police department, but this Pittsburgh resident says she's seen it more in her daily life.
Everything talks these days, you know what I mean? So I feel like it's expanding growing pretty largely.
The Pittsburgh Police Department is currently researching how to implement AI into other types of criminal investigations.
We're also researching various camera softwares for video cameras that have a pattern mapping that, within a certain time frame, we know that there's not supposed to be anywhere there, but if it picks up what it defines as human movement, then we know that maybe there's a burglary in progress in like overnight hours at a business.
He says while it helps their police station, AI can be used for good or evil.
Fraudulent activities, voice altering programs so they can sound like somebody that may be known to a victim, and they try to entice that victim to go get money or do like a Western Union exchange.
Deputy Chief Henderson says that AI has improved their station's ability to monitor and prevent crime. Reporting in Pittsburgh, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Chief Deputy Henderson says Pittsburgh law enforcement is currently researching pattern mapping technology for cameras to detect burglaries. The bridge in Miami, Oklahoma has a new name. The Ottawa Central Avenue Bridge, located near NEO A&M College, was dedicated yesterday morning to the late chief of the Ottawa tribe, Ethel Cook. The bridge is now renamed as the Chief Ethel Cook Bridge in her honor. Chief Cook was described as beloved and an integral part of the Miami community and played a vital role in getting the bridge built.
We might get a tear out of her and maybe a laugh, but she would definitely be very, very honored that they took the time out of their schedule and their day to honor her for such a good opportunity and history. She's had an impact on all of us, individually, business-like, and everything.
Chief Cook died at the age of 72 in September of 2023. She served as chief of the Ottawa tribe for over 12 years. Well, kids from across Jasper County Learn what serving as a police officer is all about this week. The Jasper County Sheriff's Office Junior Deputy Day Camp is in full swing, and students get hands-on training with sheriff's deputies in all areas, including medical procedures, canine and firing range training, SWAT training, and so much more. Kids also got a chance to interact with the officers.
Take away realizing that, that we're just regular people too. We just have a different type of job than most anybody else. Our job can change at any moment, and we never know what we're going to encounter when we come to work each day, and that we are very professional in what we do, but we go home to a family just like they do.
This is the 6th year of the Junior Deputy Day Camp. Wildcat Glades Preschool Connection program invites kids to learn about one of summer's most iconic sounds, the sounds of cicadas. Students learned about the life cycle, diet, and habits of cicadas, even creating their own out of crafting paper.
A lot of them knew about the flying, like cicadas when they have the wings, and a lot of them have found like the little exoskeletons you find on the trees. Although I don't know if they all knew about the little nymphs when they live underground.
You can check out Wildcat Glades on Facebook for the next preschool connection session. Well, students in McDonald County create a buzz around robotics. Kids from 1st to 8th grade took part in the first ever VEX Robotics Summer Camp. This fun, interactive event challenged students to build and program their own unique robots.
With each kit, there's a grade level that comes with it. So when you go into a 1st or 2nd grade classroom, you're going to see that there's colorful pieces. They're kind of easier to put together. They're using block coding, which is drag and drop. So it's very easy for them to kind of get the basis of, this is the very beginnings of what we're learning, the very beginnings of what we're teaching.
Using VEX Robotics kits, students are also learning to code and control their creations with remote control. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Russian and Ukrainian officials say they have exchanged 95 prisoners in a new prisoner exchange deal. Plus, Paris ramps up their security ahead of the Summer Olympic Games. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch, heavy rains turned highways and major thoroughfares in and around Toronto into rivers. Emergency personnel were busy in Canada's largest city Tuesday as heavy rains washed out roads and caused power outages in many areas. Toronto Fire Services say they rescued more than a dozen people from flooded highways. There was also flooding at Union Station, which is a key transit hub. Part of the underground network in the city, which includes transit and shopping, had to be closed due to high water. Authorities in Paraguay making the largest cocaine seizure in the country's history. Officials found more than 4 tons of cocaine inside a shipment of sugar heading to Belgium. The country's president says the roughly $240 million seizure, dubbed Operation Sweetness, would disrupt the regional drug trade. It's not yet clear where the drugs were made, as Paraguay does not produce cocaine, but some of its South American neighbors do. The landlocked country has made headlines in recent years for smuggling, as cartel bosses work to create new routes to reach more markets. Russian and Ukrainian officials say they have exchanged 95 prisoners yesterday. Russian servicemen boarded a bus and cheered while on their way home. The Russian Defense Ministry said the freed Russian soldiers will be flown to Moscow for medical treatment, while former Ukrainian prisoners were chanting, quote, "Glory to Ukraine, glory to heroes," once they got home. Among the released Ukrainians were some who had spent more than 2 years in captivity. The country's coordination headquarters for POWs said they were captured in Mariupol during Russia's early offensive in the Kiev region. According to the UN, most Ukrainian prisoners suffered routine medical neglect, severe and systemic mistreatment, and even torture while in detention. The prisoner swap was the 54th since Russia launched what it calls its military operation on its neighbor in February 2022. As the countdown to the Paris Summer Olympics grows louder, security for the Games is also amplifying, with thousands of French military personnel busy conducting exercises and patrols. Kevin Uretsky takes a closer look at the action ahead of the global sporting event.
With the Summer Olympics quickly approaching, the French military is ramping up security measures throughout Paris to protect athletes and spectators. Heavily armed teams are busy patrolling the River Seine. Unlike many other opening ceremonies of Olympics past, which have been held inside stadiums, the Seine is set to be the stage for this year's festivities, with roughly 10,000 athletes expected to float down the historic waterway on boats on July 26th. Military officers citing the intensity of serving in this type of setting.
This mission is complex and unprecedented. Complex because we are in an environment, Paris, the Seine, the urban area. There are vulnerabilities on our perimeter. The Seine is an area with a lot of activities.
Crews are also focused on ensuring safety beneath the waves.
We have deployed sonars on the bottom of the Seine. We have permanent screen copies in the command posts. We have nautical barriers.
On land, French armed forces have built a massive camp for 4,500 soldiers in the southeast of Paris.
Ready to intervene on short notice and rush wherever in Paris.
But in the digital age, technology experts say it's critical. Cybersecurity is another top concern for both the Games and surrounding infrastructure.
Protecting the timing, the records, the registration of the athletes, the scheduling of events, things like electric power, transportation, civil defense.
That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's about to be 5:46 on this Thursday morning. We're starting with a live look from our camera on the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin. We've got clear skies out there, a light breeze to start the day, and nice, pleasant temperatures as well. Great view of the sunrise as it gets underway here from our camera 7th and range line. Just a nice range of colors in the sky and just a couple of clouds out there. Nice, great start to the day, really. MoDOT camera 20th and range line looking back to the north, looking pretty good as well. And down in the Osho, MoDOT camera at 1659, also pretty nice start to the day across the area. All right, let's start with the future track over the next couple of days. Today, other than the variable clouds and a light northeast breeze, there's not much to show out there. We're going to be dry. We're going to be warm, but we're going to be below normal. Temperatures this evening are going to be a bit on the cool side, maybe even the chilly side, especially considering that it's July and not September, October, or March or April out there. We go into our Friday. Again, just a few passing clouds here and there. Otherwise, another nice and pretty decently mild day. It'll still be, again, warm, but temperatures will be below normal. In fact, we're below normal right now. Our average low is 70. We're at 67 in Joplin. East-northeast breeze at 3. No heat index values to talk about. No oranges or reds to start the day on the temperature map, as we've got mid-upper 60s and a couple of 70-degree readings out there. So, again, a very pleasant start to the day. Hopefully got to open the windows last night, let some fresh air in. As we get our morning underway, again, variable clouds here and there, otherwise pretty pleasant. We'll make it to about 80 by 11 o'clock this morning. That's ahead of highs. Again, they're going to be warm, but they're below normal. We should be about 90 degrees for this time of year, and we're going to go about low mid 80s with those variable clouds across the area. We head into this evening. Skies still mostly clear. They'll remain that way overnight, and take a look at that. Again, our average low is 70. We're going to be down to about 60, which also means some of you in some of the rural areas and low-lying areas, you could fall back into the 50s tonight. In July, 50s. Can't complain about that. Now, as we head into the weekend, on Future Track is showing the possibility of maybe some showers on Saturday. I think we're going to be dry on Saturday. It's going to be Saturday night into Sunday that we're going to start to see the uptick in shower and thunderstorm chances across the area. So we go into our Sunday, and you can see we've got scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the majority of the day. They'll continue overnight and into Monday as well. We've got a low pressure system that's going to be cycling around us, and that's going to keep storms ongoing. They'll be scattered again through the day Monday. Our better rain chances are going to be from late Saturday into Sunday and Sunday night. As we head into Monday and Tuesday and the system slowly moves off to the east, we'll still have scattered shower and thunderstorm chances, but those chances will begin to kind of wane down a little bit as we head into the second half of the week and we clear out and we're going to start to warm back up. But over the next few days, again, we're going to be below normal, and that will continue during those rain chances as well from Sunday through Tuesday with scattered thunderstorms out there. Then after we get clear of the storms and the clouds and head into the second half of next week, we start to get hot again, but not oppressively so. Temperatures about normal as we climb up to around 90 degrees. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Mega hit movie news now from directors with a pair of billion-dollar blockbusters to an unlikely tribute to last year's biggest film. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
Yes, when we make love, we call it war. What will it take for us to be the beast you once unleashed?
Your eyes and ears are not deceiving you. That's the shock rock heavy metal band GWAR performing their take on Ryan Gosling's I'm Just Ken from Barbie. Lead singer Blothar the Berserker says he's been a fan since Gosling's Mickey Mouse Club days.
From the very first Iron Man movie, we've loved these films, and we love these characters.
And they may be coming back for more. Anthony and Joe Russo, who directed Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, reportedly are in talks to return to Marvel for another pair of Avengers movies, Avengers The Kang Dynasty, scheduled to debut in 2026, and Avengers Secret Wars, due out in 2027. Endgame and Infinity War are the second and sixth highest grossing movies of all time, respectively. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
A few hairstyles have quite the lasting impact of a mullet, and one teen near Portland, Maine is looking to make his stand out on the national stage. Elliot Big Red Coleman is one of 32 teens competing in this year's USA Mullet Championship. As Cameron Lobley reports, he spent 2 years preparing for this moment.
Behold the main of Maine. It's Elliot Big Red Coleman. If you're curious about the nickname, look no further than the top of his head.
I pretty much had Big Red my whole life.
He's one of 32 teens taking part in this year's USA Mullet Championship, the nationwide showdown of business in the front, party in the back. Coleman says he's spent the better part of 2 years growing out these locks, having to bounce between hairstylists just to keep it the way he likes it.
The last three were they weren't doing too good. They say they knew what they're doing, but they weren't. And this fourth one, they do pretty good.
And though his family took some convincing to go full mullet,
I thought, no way. This is ridiculous.
now they're excited to see where it takes him.
He stuck out with it, even in the dead of summer. So I said, run with it. And it actually looks pretty good.
The Wyndham family is asking for the community support to help get Elliot to the finish line and make him this year's champion.
Go mulletchamp.com and find my picture and hit vote and put your email. And please and thank you.
He's got the crown. Now all that's left to do is to make him a mullet king.
The mullet champ is set to be crowned on August 28th. We'll be right back. Well, a beloved coffee chain and car manufacturer joined forces to expand electric vehicle charging stations along the West Coast. Starbucks announced yesterday its new partnership with Mercedes-Benz to install EV chargers at 100 Starbucks locations along Interstate 5. The new charging stations are a part of Mercedes' $1 billion plan to build 2,000 new charging hubs around the world. Starbucks is not contributing any funds to the installation of the new charging stations. It's just providing space in its parking lots for customers to plug up and charge their EVs. If you love a certain seafood delicacy, today is the day for you. That's because it's National Caviar Day. The day was created to enjoy having roe on toast, but to also raise awareness about the survival of the sturgeon. Caviar, which is derived from sturgeon fish eggs, has become a luxury over the years. But a scarcity from overharvesting has forced environmental restrictions to be put in place. The sturgeon population has been very slow to recover, so the National Day was created to raise awareness of the problem, but also to celebrate the delicacy itself.
I'm not big into seafood, unfortunately. It just does not set well with my stomach, and that certainly does not sound appealing to me. But for some of you, it may be, and my hat is off to you. Enjoy your caviar day as best you can, and maybe today's a good day to enjoy caviar since I don't really consume it. I don't know what the perfect consuming conditions would be, but we've got mostly clear skies as we get the day started. It'll be near 80 by 11 o'clock. As we head into the afternoon, we're going to be warm but below normal. Light northeasterly breeze, variable clouds out there, and highs right around the low to mid 80s across the area. And then we head into our evening and overnight hours. Mostly clear skies. Keep in mind our average low is 70. We're going to be dropping down to 60 tonight. This is July, and we have an overnight low of 60, which also means some of you in outlying areas could fall back into the upper 50s tonight in July. So if you haven't given your air conditioner a break yet, now's the time to do it. Open the windows, get some fresh air in the house as well. I'm sure, I know my house probably could use a little fresh air. Not a bad idea. So we're going to hold on to below average temperatures for the next several days because bear in mind, our average high is supposed to be about 90, and we're going to be below that. Still warm, but below it. Then we have increasing thunderstorm chances late Saturday into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. But as we go into Monday and Tuesday, as the system rolls through, our rain chances begin to steadily drop until we start to clear out. And then the second half of next week, we're going to get hot again, but we're going to be about average as highs climb back into the upper 80s, right around 90 degrees. That is a check of your forecast. We've got another hour of the KOAM Morning News coming your way right after this.